Alright, this is Jared Stepp with facebook.com/JaredSteppMusic, and we're doing a shootout of two reverb pedals, two of the best on the market. The Red Panda Context Reverb and Delay, has a little delay algorithm as well. And the Strymon Flint, which is a reverb plus a tremolo pedal. We're not going to look at the delay or the tremolo side of the pedals, just comparing the reverb algorithms. So here's my dry signal. That's Paul Reed Smith Hollow Body 1 spruce going through an Empress compressor into a Pod HD 500 amp modeler and out through a BBE Sonic Stomp right into Pro Tools. So here's the Red Panda Context, all knobs. I'm going to put them at noon on the Hall setting. We're going to compare the Hall setting first. From here, and the 80s reverb on the Flint, which is the Hall. Here we go. Flint, all settings on noon on the 80s. So one thing you'll notice right away is that the Flint's a little bit darker of a reverb with all knobs at noon, and you'll find that across the board that the Context is going to give you a little bit brighter verb, and the Flint gives you a little darker. It's just a matter of preference. They're both beautiful. So alright, here is the Decay turned up and the damping turned up to make the Context a little bit darker. Both of the knobs up to about 3 o'clock. Sorry. Context. Do a similar kind of thing over here. We'll darken this up. You darken this one the opposite way. The color knob, put the Decay up, and here we go. Okay, so one thing you'll notice, the Context has one more knob for the reverb side than the Flint does. That's a pre-delay knob, and so the Context reverb, you can dial in the pre-delay, so you know how quickly the reverb comes in. And I've got it at noon, which gives it maybe a 50 millisecond pre-delay, and so it gets out of the way of your tone a little bit more than the Strymon, I believe, just because of that factor. But both do amazing. All right, so let's go to the 70s. This is a plate, and we'll go to the plate setting on the Context. All knobs at noon again. There we go. Again, you notice they're darker at noon. Put the damping up on the context, color down, and go with this. Damping down. So there you get some of the shimmer on the Flint when you turn that color knob up. Let's go Decay up on both of them. Setting on the Strymon has a longer decay time just in general, whereas on the Hall the context has a longer decay, or just as long at least as the Strymon. Another quick comparison I want to do is the 80s versus the Cathedral on the context. Let's go to a high delay setting. Keep the coloring knobs up. Start with the context again. You'll notice the 80s reverb has a little bit more modulation on it at the end than the context does. Let's compare the 70s of the Flint to the same setting on the context. So you notice the context has longer decay time at that setting. And then let's go to the gated on the context, and we're going to compare that to the 60s spring on the Flint. Decay, all knobs at noon. Alright. Obviously they're two different animals, but you can accomplish similar things with them in terms of playing faster stuff, solos, overdriven stuff with them. Now I'm going to go to the room setting on the context here. That might actually be a better comparison with the 60 spring reverb. Real quickly, let's go to a Cathedral, the Decay on full, and I'm going to try and get a similar setting on the 70s reverb here. I know the damping knob on the context is at noon, but I'm going to turn this one up, color up, so that we can try and match them a little bit. Let's put the Decay on full for the 70s reverb, see if we can't match these a little bit. It's nice. Listening though, I think we might be able to get a better match on the 80s setting, so here we go. Send both of these blend knobs to 100%, and let's just go with this a similar setting here. 80s versus Cathedral. Almost choir-like quality to the context in this setting. It's really nice. And there's a choir-like quality to the Strymon, but it's a dark choir. It's a choir with basses that are otherworldly. So anyway, those are the main attributes of the context and Flint that compare. They're both awesome reverbs and would highly recommend them. Hope that helps you.